I am 21, proposed to my girlfriend, F21, of just under 2 years last week. She was surprised, but said yes. We both told our families and talked more about stuff on the way back to our apartment, about a 2-hour drive. After we got back, we both told our families and all seemed good. Problem happened when she got really anxious. We haven't had any major issues before, even the few arguments we have been minor and quickly resolved. So she gets this massive knot in her stomach and goes home for a week. Once she gets back, we talk a lot about how she isn't ready to be engaged and had just not been 100% in, just that she had been comfortable. Day after we talk some more and boom, she's breaking up and says it isn't my fault. Says stuff like that she doesn't want to hurt me more and can't make a promise if she isn't 100%. So talking more this weekend, she isn't willing to go to a relationship counselor or anything to try and narrow down the holdup, to see if we can salvage anything. I don't think she was looking for a reason to break up or think it's anything like that. We had talked about engagement and the future a bunch and it just seemed right. Her parents were fully supportive of me asking her. I feel dumb for shaking things up. We had both been content and happy. What frustrates me the most is just how wrong I was and how not once when we were talking about stuff did it seem like she wasn't 100%. I thought we were all in, we moved in together and had been doing great from what I could tell. So now I am looking for another place to stay because I was too dumb to realize my near-perfect relationship wasn't ready, that I caused a breakup by proposing and causing us to both think about the future and us more. TLDR, I proposed, she said yes, but the proposal led to a lot of unresolved thoughts coming up. She went home for a week, and now we are broke up. Right now I'm working on somewhere else to stay. If I hadn't proposed then maybe we would have been ready later. I, 28M, am really confused about the events of the last month. My ex-GF Julie, 29F, thinks that my current GF Mindy, 28F, is manipulative and sabotaged our 4-year relationship. I was in a loving relationship with Julie for the last 4 years. We met through some mutual friends. Julie and I were very compatible in terms of our love for outdoor activities and running. We have very similar lifestyles and supported each other well for the last 4 years. We have also been living together for the last 3 years. We even discussed getting married during the summer. Everything was great and I was planning to propose to her over the holidays. However, I started to see changes in behavior in Julie around September. She was acting distant and looked stressed. It was quite noticeable and I was worried. I trust her with all my heart and I could not imagine she would be cheating on me. However, she did spend more time by herself. Around the same time, Julie's friend Mindy messaged me privately and asked me if I could meet her secretly, as she wanted to tell me something about Julie. Mindy and Julie work together and I have known Mindy ever since I started dating Julie. I was surprised, but to be honest, I assumed the worst. I met her at a cafe after work. She asked me if things were going okay between Julie and me. She told me that Julie told her that she was planning to leave me soon. This was a total shock to me. I asked her if there was anyone else that Julie was interested in and she told me no. Julie confided in her that she was not sure about marrying me. She told me she just had to tell me this as she did not want me to be blindsided. I was devastated. I started putting more effort into making our relationship more exciting and planning more dates, etc. Mindy was also helping me through this time, and telling me more about what Julie told her. Eventually, before Thanksgiving, Julie told me that she loved me, but she wanted to take a break for a month to live alone. She said that she just wanted to live alone for a month to make sure she wanted to marry me. I was completely heartbroken. I asked her if she wanted to pursue someone else. She told me that was not the case, and I better not do anything stupid either. She loves me with all her heart, but she just wants to stay away from me to make sure that she is marrying me for love, and not because she is used to being with me. I did not understand that at all. I told her that if she is not sure after 4 years, if she wants to marry me, then maybe we should just break up. We had a big fight and broke up after a few days. As our lease was ending, we decided to part ways in December. She got a new apartment and I kept our old apartment and just took her name off the lease. After the breakup, I was feeling very lonely, as I was not used to being in the apartment alone. I didn't want to keep on being sad and hence invited a bunch of friends for a New Year's party. I also invited Mindy. We had a good time and my friends were doing their best to cheer me up. Mindy also mingled with my friends, and it was good. Mindy decided to stay back to help me clean up, and we hooked up that night. I felt guilty, but Mindy did cheer me up. Since then, we have hung out almost daily at my place. I am still sad about Julie, but I won't lie that being with Mindy does make me feel happy. She is sweet and caring. Last Sunday, we woke up and someone was banging on the door. I went to open it and it was Julie. She looked furious and started yelling at me. She kept on accusing me of cheating on her. I told her I most certainly did not cheat on her, and she was the one who broke up with me. Mindy was also at my apartment. Julie was just angry at both of us. She started calling Mindy a manipulative bitch and told me that Mindy was the one who suggested to her that she should take some time away from me to understand her true feelings. I calmed her down and asked her to explain herself. She told me that ever since our marriage talk, she told Mindy about it and Mindy kept on asking Julie if she was sure about marrying me. Mindy suggested she take some time to herself to understand her true feelings, and that I will understand and give her space. When I said no, Mindy convinced her that I was so controlling that I could not even give her 1 month to herself and convinced her to break up with me. Mindy told me that she did not say any such things, and these were all Julie's ideas, and she was just there during these conversations. She did tell Julie that she told me about some of the things so that I get a chance to make things right with her over the last few months. That made Julie more angry and she started accusing me of emotionally cheating on her. Julie told me that the last few weeks have made her realize that we were meant to be together, but she now cannot believe I could move on from a 4-year relationship in a week. On one hand, I want to believe Julie, but she broke up with me for no fault of my own. Mindy was there for me when I was down, but now I also doubt her. She suddenly started talking to me out of the blue as we were never really close before, and immediately became my support after the breakup, although Julie was her close friend. Am I the to emotionally cheat on Julie? Should I have told her about Mindy's texts? Should I have not moved on from her so quickly, even though Julie broke up with me? I was just hurting and Mindy was right there to support me. I need advice from someone with a clear mind on what the fuck is going on. Background, me 34F, him 43M. We've had a bit of a whirlwind romance, met at a conference, and he moved over 100 miles to my city to be near me a few months ago so we could spend time together. He has no kids and is not currently working, lives off inheritance. I have one son aged 7. He is pretty intense, wants to talk and see each other every day, talks about the future moving in, marriage, babies, etc., and I do believe he genuinely loves me and I love him. Although our 8-month relationship has had its ups and downs mainly over communication, he wants to be able to call me whenever and I am quite busy a lot and don't enjoy talking on the phone so much and am more of a texter. He says I am unreliable though I have spent a lot of time on the phone with him. He doesn't use WhatsApp or text as he hates it, though I prefer these, and 2, the fact I haven't introduced him to my son, as we have had some arguments over communication and because he gets insecure, and has broken up with me once and threatened breakups at other times, and also my son was quite affected by my split with his dad so I wanted to take that part of things slow. I probably spend every weekday with my boyfriend though, as I work from home and he comes over. We have had overnights, etc. I thought we were doing okay tbh. I had the chance to go on a 5-day vacation here in the US with my mother who lives overseas. This is something I have done with my mother and son since he was a baby. Boyfriend had booked to go see a friend in another state the same week. But the day after I arrived to meet my mom, boyfriend called saying he was coming with his friend to where we were and he'd like to meet up. I felt bad about taking time away from my mom and we had some plans, but I didn't say no. I said I'd think about it. Over the next couple of days, boyfriend unraveled a bit because I was only texting, not calling him, and I didn't think meeting up would work out. He ended up getting very upset and ghosting me for 2 days. Since then, he has said he is now not sure about our relationship and wants space. Despite knowing since early on that I have been away with my mom and son maybe every 1 to 2 years, he is now saying he would feel excluded if his partner ever went on vacation without him, and he doesn't want someone who prizes independence so much. When I said he previously said my independence was something he really liked about me, he said he just ate what I wanted to hear. He also wouldn't be okay if I wanted to do something with my son without him in future. He also wants someone who he can call any time of the day or night and they will answer, even though I have a job with a lot of meetings, and a kid I have main custody of. I felt like I had done something terrible by not saying yes to meeting up on my vacation or by only calling 2 days out of 4. Last time I went on a trip with my mom at Christmas, he showed up spontaneously to take me away for a night and I left my son with her and felt guilty about missing that time with them both. I guess I didn't want to repeat that. He's now threatening to break up and says he doesn't know how he feels and may leave me/our city. I am so upset and feel guilty. I previously thought it was normal to sometimes see family separately. I wasn't trying to exclude or reject him, I just wanted that time with my mom and son. He swears he is not controlling, but I thought it was okay to do stuff apart at times, and to communicate in a way that works for both of you. Who is in the wrong here? Any opinions gratefully received, as I am so exhausted from apologizing and begging the last few days. He's acting like he could care less when just over a week ago, he called me the love of his life. TLDR, I didn't meet up with my partner when I was on vacation with my mom, and he says I excluded him and might want to break up. My best friend, 28F, and I, 27F, have been friends for over a decade. I moved to the opposite coast 7 years ago, but we've maintained the friendship through regular messages and calls. I struggle with anxiety and depression. It gets so bad that I shut myself out from the world and I can't bring myself to reply to people sometimes. In 2022, I ended up ghosting her for 6 months. She had left some messages for me that I just didn't get to. The more time passed, the more I couldn't bring myself to message, out of depression and shame. She was the one who messaged again to ask if I still want to talk, and I apologized and told her everything. She was extremely hurt. She had gone through a breakup in those 6 months, and I wasn't there for her, but understanding, and I promised her that it would never happen again and that I would make it up to her. She forgave me and went back to our regular communication. Unfortunately, it happened again. I ended up ghosting her for 3 months this time because my medication has been upped and I'm going through more intense therapy. Her last messages were just normal life stories she was sharing with me, and for some reason, I just couldn't respond. I'll admit that while I wasn't responding, I was still very active on social media, so I was posting stories and viewing hers. Replying to people is just a different beast for me. I finally messaged her with an apology and told her about my new meds and my therapy and how bad my mental health has gotten, and all I got from her was "girl whatever." That response shocked me. It was so cruel and dismissive of me opening about how crippling my depression has gotten. So I called her out and told her that she's known this about me for years now, and I'd expect a more empathetic response from my best friend. She hasn't responded since. I did find out from a mutual friend that in those 3 months, her grandmother died and her mom had gotten sick, but my issue is, couldn't she just have messaged me urgently if those things were happening instead of resenting me for not being there for her again? There was literally no way for me to know those things happened, so her curt response just seems immature to me, and now I'm hurt. I talked to some friends and some have said she's acting immature, but some have said they understand her. Ida? I'm a 22-year-old female. I'm introverted. I had one boyfriend who cheated on me 8 months ago, and since then found it incredibly difficult to socialize. Not that many people made an effort. I'm simple. I don't have social media. I have a few friends, but they don't really speak to me much. I'm average looking. Pretty insecure since my breakup. I'm in college and on weekends work a 12-hour shift at a fast food restaurant to make ends meet. I don't know, I felt really lonely, so I knew of a guy who works with me who told me his friend is doing sex work. I found him on Facebook and he told me how much he charged. Also asked me a bunch of questions about my sexual health. I never planned on sleeping with him, I just didn't want him to find me weird. Anyway, we met at a hotel. I told him I didn't want to have sex, I just wanted to be held and given words of affirmation and care. He agreed and I paid him. I gave him flashcards. They all said things like, "I'm proud of you, you're doing so well, you're strong, did you eat, are you okay, I know you can do it, etc. etc. And he just held me until our hours was up, and then I bolted, and I feel so ashamed and had to tell someone. But I don't speak to anyone, so here I am. Edit, thank you all for the kindest words and making me feel better and less ashamed. Yes, that's me immediately upvoting. I'm not good with words, so please know I appreciate it more than you know. Thank you so much. I don't know if I watch too many crime shows or if I'm just paranoid, so I've come here to ask. Last week I made chicken gnocchi soup. When it was almost done, I started helping my daughter with a school project. She got us both a bowl, and a few seconds later, my BF runs into the room with a bowl and tells me to eat the bowl he has. I told him it was all the same and he insisted that he wanted mine because it had more chicken. Thinking back now, I don't know how he would know that considering my daughter dished it out. My daughter took the bowl he gave me and said she would eat it. He yanked it out of hand and said, "No, it's for mom." I took the bowl and he went to the living room. I continued doing my daughter's project and told her not to eat the soup. 20-ish minutes later, I walked into the kitchen to pour the soups out and he was still eating his. He asked why we didn't eat any, and I said the cat got into it while we were waiting for it to cool down. He screamed, "What? Was it your bowl? Cats can't eat that." I told him it was only a lick, but he has been stressed out watching the cat like a hawk, obsessive even. His reaction was very weird. These accidents all happened before the soup incident over the span of 6 months. It wasn't one after another in a short period of time. Since then, my emergency money has gone missing. I keep money hidden just in case. I lost my older sister because she wasn't able to escape a dangerous situation, and I literally swore on her grave I would never be in that position. After the soup incident, I went to get my money, and it was gone. It was hidden, and I changed the location every few months. I asked my daughter if maybe she found it, and that if she took it I wouldn't be mad because I knew she couldn't have spent it. She said no. A few hours later she tells me she forgot, but the other day her and my BF got pulled over, and she saw my pink wallet in his glove box. I did not tell her which wallet it was in or that it was in a wallet. I decided to ask him if he found it by accident. He asked me why I was hiding a large amount of money, you could never leave me, and laughed. He has never said anything like that before. I told him it was for my daughter's Christmas. He said no, he didn't find the money but could use his credit card for gifts. I didn't tell him about my daughter seeing my wallet in his car. Now here are a few other things that have happened in the past few months that seemed random at the time, but now they don't. I have a severe allergy to latex. One day we were about to have sex, and I glanced at the mirror we have by our bed and saw the condom wrapper was a different color. I stopped him because it wasn't latex-free, and he said it was a mistake and just an older one he had. We have been dating for over 2 years, and he knows how serious my allergy is. My EpiPen that I keep in my room is missing, and I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it was missing until I was searching for my money. Another odd thing is one day he was following me down the stairs while I was carrying laundry, and he kicked the back of my leg and I fell. He said he slipped, but the stairs are wood and he was wearing his steel toe boots. At the time I thought it was an accident. Am I overthinking this? My anxiety has been at an all-time high. Do I watch too much true crime? Here is why I think I might be the asshole. We have a good relationship. He loves my daughter like she is his. We split all shared bills and we both pull our own weight around the apartment. We don't fight. He has never so much as raised his voice at me. We are paycheck to paycheck, but bills are paid. I thought about going to my mom's house for a few days and asking him when I get there when I'm safe about the money, but I don't have money to do that now. She's on a fixed income and can't help. I feel stupid for being scared. Last night I decided to check his car for my wallet and he caught me. I asked him for my money back and he tried playing dumb. I told him my daughter saw it there. He told me she was lying. I told him I never told her about the money or what wallet. He said he was a grown man and kids lie all the time. I asked him once more for my money and he said I'm not giving you money to leave me. I waited until he was in the shower to grab my cat and my daughter and we left. I can't take my cat with us to a shelter and the DV shelters are full. I was able to get us a night at a cheap motel. This exact situation is why I had money saved. I did everything right and now I'm screwed. I feel like I just blew up my entire life. Yes, I'm using a burner account and reading all the comments that I can. Relevant comments. The red flags are so obvious here. In my defense, the few odd accidents seemed like a genuine accident until the soup thing. It really freaked me out, and that is when I started thinking. Yeah, the soup incident is very shady. That is what made me start thinking about the other accidents and putting the pieces together. I thought I just watched too many true crime shows, but everyone's response confirmed I'm not just paranoid. In order to believe this I have to think you're a moron. Like, I had to stop reading at the staircase incident. Have you ever accidentally stepped on your dog's foot? Were you trying to kill your dog? No. That is what I thought at the time, it was an accident. Several people accuse this of being obviously fake, because events escalated too quickly, and why would she be posting on Reddit for advice? I'm not a character in an anonymous fucking story. I wasn't looking for advice, I was looking for confirmation I wasn't paranoid. You bet your ass, I left as soon as he said my daughter was lying. Fuck off. There is no consensus bot on Ada, but it was pretty obviously NTA. Update post 1, December 4th, 2023, 4 days later. ATL, DR, I think my boyfriend put something in my soup. After that incident I remembered a few months ago, he almost used a latex condom knowing I'm severely allergic, and I also remembered when he accidentally knocked me down the stairs. I started piecing things together and realized my EpiPen was gone as well as a large amount of money I had hidden. My daughter saw my old wallet in his glove box and he denied it. My post got a lot of attention and my account was shadow banned for a few days. I was able to appeal and get my account back because I'm not a bot or some AI. Now for the update. The day after we left, he sent me a picture of my EpiPen and tried telling me it was in my nightstand the whole time. I tore that room apart looking for it, so I know for 100% fact it wasn't there. He took it. He tried getting me to come back telling me I scared myself stupid and watched too many true crime TV. Something didn't feel right, so I told him to put my money and EpiPen in the mailbox. We went back and forth and he denied having my money. He then said if we broke up, you and Maria, my daughter, are no longer allowed in my apartment and will be treated like trespassers, and sent me a pic of his target practice sheets. I went to the police about the money and was told it was a civil issue. I was upset but wanted the rest of my stuff, so I asked for an escort. Yesterday, I finally got an escort into the apartment with a cop and my landlord. He destroyed everything of my daughter's, and he ruined the laptop charger I use for work. No AP pen. My daughter's medication and backup medical supplies were ruined. Our landlord let me off the lease without having to pay an early termination fee, which is great considering I have no money. Motels are expensive. I don't want to get rid of our cat. All shelters are full, and this is scary as shit. I'm sorry, this is a shitty update, but I know people wanted it. Relevant comments. There has to be something that can be done about your daughter's meds. I'm beyond angry that nothing can be done. Insurance won't cover her medications or supplies until next month. She just got refills. I can get her meds, but I'll pay out of pocket. I have no money. Since I couldn't prove my money existed, I can't prove he stole it. I'm livid. Restraining order? Nope, not unless he gets physical with me. I should have let him hit me, and I would have a lot more help available, which is so fucked up. Why are the police so useless? I wouldn't say useless. I did get a police escort to get the rest of my stuff. Update post 2, December 10th, 2023, 6 days later, 10 days, from OG post. My OP got a lot of attention, but then my account got shadow banned and was temporarily removed. I just updated 5 days ago, but this will be my final update because there is nothing anyone can do. I was encouraged to go back to the police station after my last update. On Saturday, December 9th, I went back again. This time I printed out the threatening text messages that included the target practice sheets he sent. I explained in detail about the accidents, proving he was trying to hurt me, and I even had my landlord put in writing that he believed our lives were in danger after seeing everything I was showing the police and let me leave my lease early. I brought in the destroyed medical supplies and medications. The police said they had already talked to him and said he didn't do any of it. He told them my daughter probably destroyed her stuff because she is special ed. She has very mild Asperger's but doesn't destroy things. Since it was his word against mine, they believed him. I didn't have proof he stole the money or that it even existed in the first place. I was told the AP pen was my responsibility and they won't do anything if it's lost. I was told to let it go and acted like I was bothering the police with my petty civil issues. I am so defeated and angry. My daughter isn't going to have gifts for Christmas because I have to save for a new deposit on an apartment. We have been staying in motels while I was reaching out to DV resources. I can't I 28F married my 37M husband 4 years ago when his daughter was 11. She's 15, almost 16. Her parents have been divorced since she was 7. She still sees her mom regularly and they have a great relationship. I know I will never be her mother and I have never tried to take on that role nor force her to look at me that way. The problem is she doesn't like me at all. Since she was 11, she's made it clear I'm not her mom. She rolls her eyes at me, ignores me a lot of the time, tells me I'm not her mom, etc. Her mom and I get along. She will call me if she needs me to take my stepdaughter to practice instead because she has a new baby. We're not best friends, but we do keep in touch for the sake of her daughter because her dad travels a lot for work, so I am the sole parental figure for her. I don't try to force my stepdaughter to spend time with me, but sometimes I do suggest we go shopping, watch a movie, etc., especially when her dad travels out town for a few days. I'm always shut down. This brings me to last week. I had to go in her room to put more towels in her bathroom and she's been a little down because her boyfriend broke up with her. I knock and she lets me in and I see she's watching Love is Blind and I say, "Oh, I'm watching this right now with Anna, my niece. I'm an episode behind you, but I'd love to watch it with you." She ignores me and I put the towels up in her bathroom and when I'm leaving I say, "I have snacks downstairs. I also got new face masks if you want to try them out or we can just talk if you want someone to vent to because we're both into skincare and I know how hard a teenage breakup is." She pauses her TV and says, "Stop fucking trying to be my mom. I don't like you, you're just my dad's wife. I have a mom and you mean nothing to me, so stay the hell out of my life and stop trying to get me to do things with you. I want nothing to do with you, weirdo." She shoos me out of her room and slams the door in my face. I will admit that I cried a little. My niece/goddaughter is graduating high school this year and when we were watching Love is Blind she said she would love to go to a beach because she's never been and go on a good vacation before she starts college, so we started making plans. I'm paying for both of us. Her mom says she wants to go and she'll pay for herself. My niece also asked if her best friend could come and I said I'd cover the hotel and plane, but her parents will have to pay the rest. Yesterday when I was searching and calling around for hotels and amenities and things to do, she comes down and hears me. Her dad walked in and she goes, "Are we going on a vacation?" He says, "I don't think so. Are we, Sarah?" I say, I'm taking my sister, niece, and her friend as a graduation present, and she asks her dad if she can go, and he asks why I didn't ask her, and I say, we made this plan when I asked her if she wanted to watch a show with me and my niece, and she told me I'm not her mom and she doesn't want to do things with me, and she wants nothing to do with me, and they tried to make excuses, and I say, I can't be your parent/friend when you want me to do things for you, but you treat me like crap any other time. She went and called her mom, and her mom called me, and I explained what happened and what was said. She was shocked about what her daughter said to me, but she understood completely. She told my stepdaughter that she will take her on a trip when she graduates, but she missed out by acting that way, and she can't force me to take her. My husband says I should get over it and take her. I don't think I'm in the wrong. Update: I took some of the people's advice, and I had to sit down with her, her father and her mother to talk about boundaries and clear rules of what I will not tolerate anymore. I am still standing firm that I am not taking her on this trip, because I am not going to award bad behavior and verbally abusing, and I don't want to deal with that on the trip. I do not want to be miserable on a trip that's for my niece and celebrating her graduating. When my husband goes out of town, she will be staying with her grandmother or mother. I will no longer be parenting her here since she does not want me to do anything for her, and I will not until her attitude changes. I said that maybe she needs to go back to therapy, and her mother and dad agreed. I told her once again that I know she has a mother and doesn't need another, and that was never my goal to try and come in and replace her mom. I just wanted to be a parental figure. My husband did apologize for not having my back and controlling this behavior before. I said that I may not be her mom, but I am her father's wife and I need basic respect. She doesn't have to like me, but I won't tolerate her disrespect. They both asked her to apologize for what she said, and she said, scoffed, and rolled her eyes. She stormed off, and her mother and father went after her to scold her. We also agreed to go to family therapy. I told them that I will not be asking her to do things with me like go to the mall or look for a birthday present for her dad, but if she comes to me with a changed attitude, then I will be more than happy to do so. Her mother said she will be talking to her privately about how her actions have consequences, and that this was a small thing compared to what may happen in the real world. I do realize I should have been more vocal about the mistreatment, but I didn't want her to dislike me any more than she did, but I see that was not the correct decision, and hopefully we can come to sort of. I can't think of the word or phrase, but we can be cordial. This just happened 2 nights ago, so I'm still reeling emotionally. I know this is long, but there's some important background context, and I am in desperate need of answers. I've been a long-time listener to the THT podcast, so I'm really hoping that the community can just give me options on what I can do. Almost 6 years ago, I, 29M, lost my partner suddenly in an accident while he was overseas on a work trip. When I lost him, I cannot describe the pain and the anguish and the emotional hellscape that I found myself in. We planned a life together, and in a fraction of a second it was all gone. In the aftermath, I completely collapsed as a human. I left my career in healthcare, I couldn't leave my apartment for 3 months, I lost 60 pounds and was already really skinny, and I just shut down. In short, I was a mess in every single way. With the support of some very persistent friends, community resources, and an amazing therapist, I started to process and move forward. Through intense therapy and temporary psychiatric help, I've been able to heal over the years, though grieving isn't a linear process. Fast forward to around 2.5 years ago, when I met my current boyfriend, 29M. It's hard to describe getting into a relationship after losing a soulmate, but please know that he wasn't a rebound and isn't second place or anything like that. I do love him with my whole heart, even though I'll always still love my late partner. My boyfriend has a foundation of similar values, ideal relationship dynamics, communication styles to my late partner, but has a completely different personality, look, lifestyle, appearance, etc. I love him for all of his differences as much as his similarities. My therapist and I knew that it was important for me to not date someone who I would expect to be a stand-in for my late partner. Her and I have checked in constantly throughout the major stages of my relationship to ensure that I'm sticking to that. At this point, I've honestly pictured what the rest of my life would look like with him in it, and he said the same. He was also the most understanding boyfriend when I first told him about my late partner's passing and my grieving journey. If there was a textbook way to handle the situation, he could have written the whole thing. I truly could not have asked for a better boyfriend. That was until yesterday. My boyfriend likes to play pranks on me, and he's even filmed some of them to upload online. It's not a constant thing or frequent enough for me to always be on my toes, and I've always said that I'm prone to weird things happening to me, so I'm never the wiser when I'm being pranked. For sake of anonymity, I won't go into details on previous pranks he's pulled, because a few have gotten quite a large number of views, but they're mostly harmless, annoying, etc. As much as I hate being pranked in the moment, he's never gone too far. He's always checked in on me, he gets my permission to post them, and all that. I guess I should say that he had never gone too far until yesterday. He texted me in the morning to confirm dinner plans we had that evening, and I replied asking if he needed me to pick up anything on my way home from work. At least twice a month, he cooks us an elaborate dinner. I'm talking coordinated wine pairings, 5 courses, tasting menus, things like that. Like I said, he's a perfect boyfriend. I plan to FaceTime him at lunch like I always do, so no big deal. Well, he didn't answer me at lunch. No big deal, he's probably busy. I sent him a couple more texts after lunch, just random stuff, but he never responded, and when I finished work my phone showed he never even read them. I got a little anxious admittedly, but pushed it aside. I don't need to hear from him constantly, but a sudden break in our routine felt weird because he always tells me in advance when something is going on or if he's busy. Always. He also always forgets something for the dinners he makes us and asks me to grab something on the way home. Always. Not today though. Anyway, I drive to his apartment from work and let myself in with the key he gave me. I expected to hear music, smell some dinner, or something, but it was completely silent. I put my stuff down on the hall bench and walked toward the kitchen. I saw grocery bags at the kitchen's entrance, which I thought was weird. As soon as I entered the kitchen, I saw a broken wine glass at the far end of his kitchen island with a few drops of what I thought was red wine until I saw his feet sticking out. I sprinted around the island and he was laying on his side, facing away from me. There was blood everywhere. On the edge of the island, splatters on the wall, and a large pool of blood around his head. I haven't made the sounds that came out of me since I got the call that my late partner passed. My heart was racing so bad that my chest and head hurt. Though I felt like I was in full-blown panic mode, I physically went into autopilot. I work in healthcare again, so I'm glad that my instincts kicked in. He was on his side, so I flipped him flat on his back. From what I gathered, trying to take a medical visual inventory of his injuries, it looked like he was just bleeding from his head. He didn't respond to my voice or a quick sternal rub. He wasn't moving at all, and when I put my ear down to his mouth, I wasn't hearing or feeling breathing. He had blood all over his face, so I couldn't tell if his lips were blue or anything like that. I do remember checking for a pulse, and I truthfully didn't feel one, though in hindsight I can't be sure if I was mentally stable enough to discern one either. My boyfriend's sister called me this morning in tears apologizing on her brother's behalf and told me how sorry he is. She said that if he would have told her about the prank beforehand, she would have chewed him out for even thinking of the idea. Their parents were horrified as well and have said that they are here to support me in whatever way I need. His sister told me that he had come over to her house after I didn't let him into my place, and he was having a major anxiety attack with chest pain, racing heartbeat, and trouble breathing. It was so bad that she took him to the ER, where they learned that I had fractured a couple of his ribs, while attempting to give him what I thought was life-saving CPR, and in the process had also punctured a lung. There are so many emotions going through my head right now. I am so angry at the world for, yet again, ripping away a man I love from me, because even though he's alive, I don't think that I'll ever be able to get over this. At the same time, I still love and care for him. It's like, all I want to do is rush to the hospital to be by his side, while at the same time feel like the sight of him would make me sick. He disgusts me in every way, yet the thought of being without him breaks me in ways I can't explain. What do I do? Is there any possible way for me to heal from this? Do I even consider trying to fix things with him? Do I even want to make this work? Was this entire relationship a facade that he built up to sell a prank that is so personal and cruel and disgusting? Why would he do something that he knew would destroy me so thoroughly? What did I do to him that made him think that I deserve this? How do I start my grieving process over while also processing this breakup? How can I ever trust anyone ever again? I mean, seriously. What the fuck do I do? My girlfriend and I had gotten together just before summer and everything was phenomenal and the best either of us have had, but once we went to the Barbie movie her entire energy changed and was very distant. My first thought would be I must have reacted wrong to it, but I enjoyed the movie and don't remember giving a negative reaction. But we barely had a physical relationship for 3 weeks after. During those 3 weeks she canceled our road trip to my home state 2 days prior and basically had no cares or didn't want to help me feel better about it. Anyways, it went back to almost normal for 3 more weeks. Like we went on fancy dates and out to do things with her friend and then went to a concert last weekend, had an amazing time, even got a beautiful picture taken of us on the barrier. The next day she got home from work and told me she was packing her things and leaving. I was told I didn't meet her needs, because I wouldn't ask her if she was okay until she finally said what was wrong, and the quality of my compliments on her physical appearance weren't good enough. Obviously, every story has 2 sides, but I really thought she was the one and put my all into it, and thinking back on everything, it all starts with the goddamned Barbie movie. My ex-girlfriend started acting weird after we watched the Barbie movie together and broke up with me randomly. In relation to those saying things on the emotional end, I only didn't force her emotions out of her, and that was my fault. I fully told her what I needed and she ignored it. I keep getting blamed for this reason. I didn't say she had to help me figure it out or get through it. I told her I needed extra emotional support and reassurance. More emotional feedback. She never gave me anything to work with aside from big expectations of her needs, which she didn't describe in more detail until 4 weeks later and 3 days before she broke up with me, which in her words was the day she decided it was over, but still slept with me and told me she loved me and still talked about future plans. When it comes to the accusations of being neglectful or oblivious to her emotions, I wasn't. I could feel her emotions, but when I would ask there would never be an explanation because I would ask what was wrong and she would say nothing. Then it is my fault for not prying her emotions out of her even though she's a grown person who brags about how good her communication skills are. I spared the details, because this was a get-it-off-my-chest post, because it was the final thing in my head. But yes, I did ask her about her emotions and how things made her feel. I did compliment her, and not only on her physical appearance. And I am happy it has happened because I reflect and realize that I didn't get near the treatment she was expecting from me and generally feel like it was the best decision for both of us. I have taken all things most of you are saying into consideration, and I do believe I dodged that bullet and saved myself a lot of time and money by not fighting for it. Also, I didn't realize how many people blame the Barbie movie for their breakups, but I did confuse correlation with causation. It just happened around the same time. Last thing. I know I'm a dumbass for having her move in so soon, and I've done it before, because my family's house was always open to help people. My mother housed and fed 3 boys that weren't her own, but their parents sucked, so my heart is always open to help people. I'm not a nice guy incel, I just genuinely care for people. Thank you for reading this far. If you have, LOL. Hello everyone, I need to know Ada. Forgive the throwaway, but my main is known by everyone from work to family. I know what I'm doing is right, but the people I respect and whose opinion matter to me are saying differently, and it's messing with me. Forgive the length of this, but I will try and put all the information I can in here. Me and Anna have been together for 5 years and engaged for 1. We were set to be married in October of this year. This woman is the love of my life. 2 weeks back, we had a couple of friends over at our house. One of the friend, Becky, was a high school friend of Anna. As the night went on, we obviously got a bit drunk and the conversation went into all the weird stuff. The conversation landed on what is the deepest thing you regret. We all spoke and Anna said her deepest regret is losing her virginity to her ex in high school and not to me. I did know this information, so that didn't bother me. Becky, who was a bit more tipsy, suddenly spoke up and called Anna a liar. A bit taken aback, I asked Becky why she would say something like that. I didn't even finish my sentences before Anna stood up and asked Becky to speak in private, but Becky refused. Becky then said Anna's biggest regret is the false essay allegations she made against her ex. Apparently in high school her ex dumped her out of the blue one day without a reason. She got angry and made a false essay allegations against him. He was arrested, kicked out of school, and his family had to move states because his life was being threatened. He was also put on self-deleting watch as he did try to end it. After Anna found out, he tried to delete himself. She confessed the allegations was fake. I actually got angry because Becky was attacking my fiancé's character. I didn't believe a word until I looked at Anna with tears rolling down her face. I asked her if it was true, and Anna ran into the house and locked herself in our room. After that, the party was over and everyone left as the situation was awkward at best. It took me 4 hours to get Anna to leave our room and talk to me. She basically confirmed that everything Becky said was true, with minor differences. I didn't know what to do in that moment, so I let her cry on my shoulder. She just kept asking me to forgive her. After I got her to bed and started to think about what she actually did, I got disgusted, and the more I thought about it, the more disgusted I got. I couldn't sleep at all that night and just got angrier and angrier the more I thought about it. That information shattered my whole image that I had of her. How can someone do something like that to anyone? I'm Joan, to be honest. After I heard her confirm what Becky had said to be true, it was like the love I had for her was being replaced with anger the more I thought about what she did. That morning I just avoided her. Every time she tried to talk to me, I couldn't look at her. I didn't want to hear her voice. Nothing. It was like this the whole day. After thinking about everything again Saturday night, I came to the discussion to break up with her. Because what she did is not just despicable, but what else has she lied about and is going to lie about, and I refuse to live with that uncertainty in my life. Sunday morning, I sat her down and asked her again to tell me the story, and she stated the same story she told me Friday night. I told her I can't be in a relationship with her anymore. She broke down completely. All I could make out over her cries is the word sorry over and over again, the rest was just mumbling. I wasn't in the best emotional state in that moment myself. This is the woman I wanted to marry. This is the love of my life. So I called her parents and mine as well. I told them we broke up, but didn't give a reason. I asked her parents to come and pick her up and asked mine to come, because I was losing it myself. Her parents got to my house first. Her mom went directly to her to comfort her, and her dad asked me what happened. As soon as I said the words she made false accusations, he stopped me and said he understood. He asked me if it was all right to grab a couple of her things. He went into our room and got some of her things. While he was packing her things, Anna just kept asking me to forgive her. On their way out, her father said he will be in touch to come get her other things at a later time. I know I make it sound quick and easy, but all of this took about 30 minutes. An hour later, my parents arrived at our house. As soon as I saw my father, I completely broke down. I couldn't even stand on my own feet. He had to keep a hold of me. I literally cried myself to sleep while my father was holding me. This was the first time I was able to sleep since Friday night. I woke up to my mom cooking dinner for us. The first question was from my father that asked if I was okay, and I couldn't answer him. My mother then asked what happened, and I just started to cry again. It took me 10 minutes to get myself together enough to talk to them. I told them everything. They sat in silence with a look of complete shock on their faces. My mother asked if it was really true, and I told her Anna herself confirmed it. After that, we just sat in silence the whole night. Just my dad constantly checking in on me. Monday, I woke up to my dad missing, and just my mom in the house. I asked her where my dad went, and she told me he left to their house, but will be back soon. Luckily, my mom answered my phone that morning when my manager called. Because I was a no-show at work, I got 2 weeks of at least. My dad came back later that day, with his and my mom's clothes, and a couple of other things. Because they will be staying with me for a while. When I wanted to object, my father told me he doesn't want to hear it. About 1600 hours the same day, Anna's mother came to my house and wanted to speak to me. My mother didn't want her to even come into the house, but I agreed to talk to her. Apparently, Anna is in a bad way. She refuses to eat and is constantly crying. Her mother asked me if I could forgive her and possibly get back together with her. They will even pay for couples counseling if that is what I needed. My mother kicked her out of my house after that. I didn't even get a chance to respond. My phone from that Sunday has been blowing up from her, our friend, her mother, even some family member on both sides wanting me to reconsider our breakup as she did nothing to me, and this was in her past. Although true, I can't forgive something like that. She caused her ex to lose his life and nearly caused his death. If she can lie about something like that, what else can't she lie about? What else hasn't she lied about? Almost everyone I know has been harassing me and calling me heartless for not seeing her pain, calling me an unholy, and that I'm a piece of shit for holding something she did in her past over her head. That I never truly loved her is I can end things just like this, and it's starting to get to me. My parents are still at my house, so I asked my dad what he will do. He responded with one question. Do you think you can forgive her? When I said no. His response was, then that is the end of it, everyone else can go screw themselves. So Ada. Edit. Just to clarify something that I see coming up in the comments. She was 18 at the time she made the false accusations. I don't know if they apologized to the guy. After they moved, they completely disappeared. I know his name and the names of his parents, but can't find them on any social media. 6 months passed from the time she accused her ex to her confession. Update. First, thank you everyone, I do appreciate your support. The update won't be long, but something has happened in the last 2 days. I have found out what happened to the ex. I know I said I won't go looking for him, but he kept creeping into my mind. Unfortunately, he is no longer with us. He took his own life at the age of 22. I found an obituary of him. I didn't contact his parents or anything, just some snooping on the internet from their old profile. I managed by luck to track them down through old friends and some family members. One of them posted his story after the essay on his profile. Someone found out the essay allegations at his college and reported him. He was kicked out and got fired from his job even though he was cleared, and he ended himself afterwards. I don't know if my ex knows. I am also labeled as an abuser now and being investigated by the police. Had to go and give a statement at the police station this morning. My ex reported me to the police for DV. I was also issued with a restraining order to not go near her. Don't want to anyway. My mother is furious. I have never heard my mother cuss, but she became a sailor when I told them what is going on. Even my dad was shocked. I explained everything to the police and gave them all the evidence I have so far, all the saved messages and voicemails. But they said the case cannot just be dismissed as they still have to do an investigation because apparently my ex has proof via photos of brushes on her body. I did ask from when and how, but the office refused to tell me. Ongoing investigation and all that crap. I can with full confidence say I have never hurt her in any physical way other than a slap on the ass. Sorry for not giving a happy update. I thought this would have been done with. Luckily, I can say all thoughts of reconciliation are out the window and driven over by an truck. So I have an ex-GF who after years is now begging for me to take her back. We started dating in college and back then I was pretty awkward. But I did love her very much. I always went above and beyond for her as much as I could. Even as a broke college student, I would give her my last just to make her happy. I thought we would last forever, honestly. LOL. Well, long story short, she cheated on me and slept with an old friend of mine. The breakup messed me up pretty bad. So I put a pause on dating and I found peace investing my time into other things like my tech career, hobbies and other stuff like that. Now years later, she's begging me to get back together after she cheated on me. She ran into me one day. She said that she wanted to catch up and told me how she regretted it all and regrets how everything happened. I laughed at this and told her to F off. I said that I was not interested in catching up and that I had to go. Well, now she's blowing up my Instagram and Facebook, sending me paragraphs about how I laughed at her love for me. She says she misses us. My buddies keep telling me I should just take her back and start a family like how I've wanted while I'm still in my early 30s since I'm getting older. But the way I see it at this point in my life, I'd rather be alone than to be in bad company. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to finally start a family of my own, but I don't want to do that with the wrong woman. They think I'm an AH for not forgiving her because the clock for me to have a family is ticking. Am I the AH?